In this video, we're going to break down how you determine the market value of a property. So whether you are a deal sourcer, whether you are a property investor, even if you're buying a house for yourself, an important thing for you to understand is what is that house actually worth. Don't just go off of what it's marketed for online, because often estate agents do a thing where they overvalue properties and see if they can get the maximum amount. Doesn't mean because they're advertising for that it is worth that. So need to break down how we do that. So let's dive straight in and waste no time. So let's say you've took a property here. Let's use Liverpool. I've been using Liverpool a lot recently. I'm not going to go into depth what you should be offering on these properties because I've done a video here. I'll list all these properties in the description below if you want to carry on watching. But knowing what to offer on them is a very different thing. But let's dive in. We found this property here. What you're going to do here is you're going to copy and paste the address. And as I said, I'm going to give you some tools and resources. I've got a list of places you can do this. So here is a list of all different places you can get the value. You can't rely on one platform or one site. And I'm going to give you some great tools here. If you want this list with all these hyperlinks as well, put in the comments below list. And if enough of you comment, we'll put it together and get that across to you. But first of all, you're going to get this address. Copy and paste it. The first tool I suggest you use is Lendlord. In the description, we'll give you a link to get Lendlord for absolutely free. And no trial periods. It's just free forever. There is an upgraded version, which is phenomenal and very cheap also, but the free version is brilliant. But put the address into here. Look, that property was on the market for how much was it? 47,000. It's an auction property. It's probably going to go for more than that. But just for this sake, we're going to put in 50K and 600K. The great thing with Lendlord and the free version, you get 3 of these per month. You can get an estimated valuation. So if we go into here and we type in terrace property, we've got an address there, the square meterage, it's grabbed that out and the algorithms searched that at the back end. We've got 2-bedroom here. The date it was roughly built, number of bathrooms, specification you're going to get it done to. You can go high, you can go very high, depending what you do. Outdoor space, garden, off-street parking, none. So what this does, this is called an average value model. Banks like Shawbrook actually use this to value properties. And this will scrape the data off a line for you and give you an average value compared to the square footage and the condition of the property within that area. It's not always highly accurate, but it'll give you the first foundation. When you're getting the market value of it, you need to triangulate your information. You can't, as I said earlier on, get this from just one source. So this is estimating £95,000 at a high spec. If we go just a very high spec, if we go to high and see what difference that would be, because obviously renovations will be a big difference there. That will calculate that for us again, and it's calculating at 85K. So that gives me a benchmark. Now I want to go deeper. Now I want to use these other sites here that I said, and as I said, comment below if you want these sites. I'm now going to use these to identify if that calculation is correct, and I'm going to cross-reference it. So one of the things you can do, I'm saying that before we do that, one of the things you can do is what you want to do is get an idea of the market trends as well, because sometimes there's not enough sold comparables, because basically how you will calculate this is off of the sold comparable prices, and what surveyors need and banks need to lend to you on is 3 comparables within the last 6 months, which is nigh on impossible at every single stage. So what you can do is get market trends. So we're going to use Lendlord here with that, but let's jump back across to Rightmove first. I'm getting ahead of myself there. So the first thing I'm going to do is after Lendlord, I'm going to go down to the bottom here, and you've got recently under offer. Recently sold or under offer. So you can click on there, you can see the sold stuff and the stuff that's under offer. So you can see what stuff was on the market, what the price of it was, and if it's sold. This doesn't tell you the actual sold price, but it gives you an indication of stuff that's selling, how actively stuff is selling, and it gives you the distance, you can see here, of how far. This is the more important stuff, actually sold stuff. This looks like the neighbouring property of this one as well. So this one's saying £74,000, and that was in 2024. So that is a very, very good comparable. There's one for 80,000 in 2023, another one for 2023 for 75,000. So this is my first point of this, but I'm then going to use Rightmove again, because Rightmove, depending where you look, so if you look underneath the advert itself, or then if you go into this part of Rightmove and you look at the house prices here, sold house prices, and you put that same address in to the sold house prices, what you're going to get is more data, then it actually gives you a right move, even though it's the same site. And again, if you use your phone and you search this in underneath the advert, they've got nearby sold prices on the app. And again, you search on there, sometimes all three of these, even though it's right move, will give you different comparables, and sometimes more, sometimes less. So you really have to scrape this data. Don't just really be lazy and just get this from one place. But look, here again, we can see that one showing now. We can see this other 2-bedroom here. It didn't show the pictures before. Pictures are important. You need to see their like for like houses. You can't just have 2-bedroom for 2-bedroom. It's got to be a terrace. It's got to be same square footage. That is one of the big things they look at. This is the nice thing with Lendlord. It will give you the price per square foot, so you can get an indication. But then the nice thing to do is, if there's not free comparables on that road, the surveyor will first of all go within a quarter of a mile. So we can then change this search to a quarter of a mile, and we can see 82. We can see one for 125, but that's a 3-bed. It's not a comparable. We see another 2-bed for 98. Not a like for like comparable, much bigger building at the front. You can see that straight away. Nicer looking building. But you can see where the algorithm has scraped that data in at 80, and these ones are more than likely just in average condition. 75. So the 80-85 at the moment is looking pretty realistic, unless you went really super high end, which in most cases on a buy to let in this end of the market, you're probably not going to go that high end. So you've scraped more data there, and then the next thing I would do, if there's not enough information, I'll go half a mile out and see if there's other properties like for like. There's a 3-bedroom there, that's the same 2-bed. But the closer the better, and the more it looks like the property, the better that is. Then I'm going to triangulate this even more just to be solid on this. I know it may seem OTT. Again, I'm going to go to this list here. I'm going to think, where's the other stuff here? So you can look at market trends. So if you use Home Track, you can go on to the house price index, and along here you can find your city, and you can see what are the trends. What are trends in the last 12 months? Is the market trending upwards? If you then go across to Lendlord, this will give you postcode information. And again, you do need the premium version to get the postcode information, but the premium is £12 a month, or really cheap, or sometimes they throw offers out on that. But then you're gonna wanna generate the postcode information. So on here, a little bit more, because with Home Track, it's going to tell you the city, but there's macro and microeconomics that happen within a city. Each little postcode will have different stuff going on within that. So this tells me the average growth over the last 5 years has been 3%, and this gives me the trends on that postcode. So you see it's had a bit 7.2% drop over the last year. So again, when you can't find a lot of comparables, you can see, okay, if I've got comparables from 2 years ago, what is so if it's from 2022, this was up 11%. It was still up 3% on from that price in 2022, and then we had a drop. So the 11 and the 3, and then minus the 7 were still kind of in front, and you can kind of adjust your valuations off the back of that. It's not an exact science. Not every surveyor will follow that exact formula, but it gives you an indication. The thing is, when you're doing this, you can only get indications. I've had properties that had strong comparables, and surveyors are allowed to to value a property within 10% range. And I remember once I had 3 strong comparables on a property, and it was a bridge to let product, and basically they give you the valuation beforehand. They just come back to confirm it. I took the valuation even though it was low. There was comparables at about 105 to 110, 115, and they valued me at between 100 and 110, was the values and comparables, and quite a few of them, and he valued it at 90k. I wanted speed, so I just moved forward with this anyway, but I met the surveyor there and I said, hey, can I pick your brain? Like, I'm not trying to give you a hard time, I'm not trying to get you to change it, but I just want to understand why you valued it at 90k, because as an investor, this is an important part of our business. And I found these comparables, and you're valuing it here. And he said, look, you're totally correct. He said, but we're allowed to value it within 10%. He said, yeah, it quite sensibly can be 100, 110. He said, I've got it 90 because that's within 10% of the parameters. He said, I'll be open and honest with you. The reason I've done that is because he got struck, like he had 4 lenders he was on the board for. One of the lenders felt uncomfortable with lending. When lenders feel uncomfortable with lending, they put pressure on the surveyors because they don't want to lend, and they make the criteria higher and higher and higher. And he said he went through everything correctly, and the bank challenged it, and then suspended him while they challenged it. So 1/4 of his income was gone. He said, so I'm nervous about valuing these. I'm going on the 10% lower side all the time. I apologize. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. It give you an understanding of multiple properties. We've had one surveyor, a week later another surveyor, and a week after another surveyor, and all three of them come in with different valuations. So just understand, this is only an indication. It's not a hard facts and science kind of thing. But this gives you an indication of where the market trends are, so you can readjust any comparables that you have got along the way. And then you can like double down. You can go on Zoopla, put the postcode in, look up this area as well, add the address here. I don't know what door number it is. You can look on there to find the door number and stuff like that. And then it's going to give you prices of that property there, what they guess it is, the estimate prices, and stuff like that. So the prices and the price changes. So triangulate your information. Oh, another site here as well that you can use is net house prices. Similar again, put your address in there. It will give you a list of these properties. The only thing with net house prices is it does not give you a picture of the property, and pictures of the property are important because you need to see the condition and the like-for-like information with that. It's asking me for extra stuff there. But it will give you more data of sold price, sold stuff. And then once you get that, if that's not showing up on Rightmove, Zoopla, and that's not showing up, basically you can then go and search that property individually. And often if you put the address in of a property, it'll come up with its old listing, and then you can see the photos of it. But even then you can't go off the photos. I've got a property that I bought, and if you look at the comparable prices, it still shows the person before me that bought it. I bought this property, I think in 2022, 2023. It still shows their price of when they bought it, maybe 8 years ago, but it shows my refurb I done it because the algorithm scraped the pictures from the lettings when we advertised it to let, and the land registry hasn't come filtered through to these platforms yet, so they're not highly accurate. But what you can do is triangulate the information, get as enough of it as you can to try and calculate where it's at. It's so important, whether you're buying for yourself, you're deal sourcing. Finding the deals is a very different thing. I've done a video here, we'll put this in the description below, how you can find deals from Rightmove and sell them. But if you're still here, please just smash the subscribe button. It really helps the channel if you got value from this. My wife's live on my terms. My mission is to help as many people live on their terms, so please share this out if you feel other people will get it valuable. But if you don't evolve your ideas, you're never going to live on your own terms. So evolve your ideas, live on your own terms, and make sure you watch this video. Not sure what side it pops up that YouTube is suggesting you should watch next.